Welcome to Numismatic Vault, the channel where coins aren't just spare change, they're hidden treasures waiting to be found. In today's video, we're diving deep into the world of rare and valuable Washington quarters. Some of these coins are worth far more than you'd ever imagine, and the best part, they could be sitting in your pocket or coin jar right now. So get ready, because by the end of this video, you might be looking at your change in a whole new way. Top 1. Today's video is about one of the most iconic and celebrated coins in United States history, the Washington quarter dollar from 1776 to 1976, also known as the Bicentennial quarter. This isn't just a coin, it's a symbol of America's 200 years of independence, a piece of national pride that millions of people held in their hands during the country's grand celebration. But here's the exciting part, some of these quarters are worth far more than their face value, with rare versions and minting errors fetching incredible prices at auctions. So listen carefully, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for in your pocket change or old coin jar that could make your Washington Bicentennial quarter worth a small fortune. The Bicentennial quarter was released in 1975 and 1976 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of American independence. Unlike other quarters, these special coins feature a dual date, 1776 to 1976, marking both the founding of the United States and the year of celebration. The U.S. Mint produced these quarters in massive quantities, but not all of them are the same. Some have rare characteristics, special compositions, and minting errors that make them highly desirable to collectors even decades later. Let's start with the design. The obverse, or front side, shows the familiar portrait of George Washington designed by John Flanagan. However, to honor the Bicentennial, the reverse side was redesigned by Jack L. Ahr, and it's one of the most beautiful and meaningful designs ever to appear on a U.S. coin. Instead of the traditional eagle, the coin displays a Revolutionary War drummer standing proudly beside a victory torch surrounded by 13 stars, representing the original 13 colonies. This design captures the revolutionary spirit and the pride of America's birth as an independent nation. Now, here's something fascinating. Although these coins were released into circulation in 1975 and 1976, none of them carry the date 1975. Every quarter minted during this period bears the dual date, 1776 to 1976, making it instantly recognizable. That's one of the reasons collectors love them, they mark a specific and historic moment in time. But let's move to what really excites coin lovers, rarity and value. While millions of these coins were made, a few unique factors make certain bicentennial quarters incredibly valuable today. The first is metal composition. Most of the coins you find in circulation are made of a copper-nickel blend, but a small number were struck in 40% silver and sold in special collector sets by the U.S. Mint. These silver versions have a distinct shine and a slightly heavier feel. If you happen to have a silver bicentennial quarter in perfect condition, you're already holding something special. Then come the minting errors, the hidden treasures that turn an ordinary coin into a rare gem. One of the most valuable errors found in the 1776 to 1976 Washington quarters is the double die error. This occurs when the design elements are imprinted twice at slightly different angles, causing noticeable doubling in the lettering or details. On these quarters, you might notice doubling in the words, "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or even on the drummer's drumsticks and face. Coins with strong doubling are extremely rare and can command huge premiums among collectors. Another striking and valuable mistake is the off-center strike error. This happens when the blank coin, known as a planchet, isn't perfectly centered during the striking process, leaving part of the design missing or shifted toward one side. The more off-center the strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes, especially if both the date and essential details remain visible. You might also come across a clipped planchet error, where a small section of the coin's edge is missing due to a cutting mishap during production. These errors are instantly recognizable by their curved or crescent-shaped missing sections. Collectors adore these because they're visually interesting and prove that even machines can make mistakes that can turn into money. One of the most fascinating errors reported on bicentennial quarters is the wrong planchet error, where a quarter was accidentally struck on a blank meant for another denomination, such as a dime or foreign coin. Because the metal composition and size don't match, the coin comes out thinner, smaller, or with parts of the design cut off. These are extremely rare and can fetch thousands of dollars depending on their condition. Now, let's talk about the condition, the most important factor that separates ordinary coins from extraordinary ones. The U.S. Mint produced billions of bicentennial quarters, and most of them went straight into circulation, meaning they show scratches, wear, and fading. However, coins that have been preserved in mint state condition, meaning they were never used, are far more valuable. Grading agencies like PCGS and NGC evaluate coins based on their condition, and coins graded MS67 or higher are considered rare treasures, proof versions of the bicentennial quarter, especially those struck in silver at the San Francisco Mint with an S mint mark, are also highly collectible. These coins have mirror-like finishes and sharp, detailed designs. A flawless silver-proof bicentennial quarter can bring serious attention at auctions. Beyond value and rarity, the bicentennial quarter holds deep emotional significance for Americans. It was more than just a coin, it was a celebration of freedom, innovation, and the nation's enduring legacy. People across the country saved them as keepsakes, gifts, and tokens of national pride. The image of the drummer represents every American, the spirit of unity, rhythm, and resilience that has carried the nation through centuries of change. Even today, collectors and enthusiasts love the 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter because it connects the past and present in a single piece of metal. Whether it's the bold design, the silver composition, or the rare minting errors, every bicentennial quarter tells a story of history, artistry, and unexpected value. There have been many instances of lucky individuals discovering these valuable quarters in ordinary rolls of change or forgotten coin collections. Some of them turned out to have rare minting errors or pristine uncirculated conditions, shocking their owners when they learned their true worth. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting. Every coin you find has the potential to be a hidden treasure. So before you spend that next 25 cents, take a moment to look at it closely. Does it have the dual date, 1776 to 1976? Does it shine brighter or feel heavier? Check for errors, doubling, or unusual details, because you might just be holding something rare and valuable without even realizing it. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. Some of these 1776 to 1976 Washington bicentennial quarters, especially those with rare minting errors, silver composition, and perfect mint state preservation, have been known to sell for as much as $84,000. Yes, you heard that right, $84,000 for a single quarter. Imagine finding that in your old coin collection or pocket change. It's a reminder that treasures can still be hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right collector to discover them. Top 2. We're talking about a fascinating coin that might just be hiding in your coin jar right now, the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from the year 1985. At first glance, it might look like just another ordinary quarter you've used countless times, but don't let its common look fool you. Certain 1985 quarters have shocked collectors by selling for incredible amounts of money. So listen closely, because this might be one of those coins that turns a simple piece of change into a rare and valuable collector's item. The 1985 Washington quarter carries the familiar portrait of George Washington on the obverse, designed by John Flanagan. This design has appeared on quarters since 1932, honoring America's first president and representing strength, leadership, and freedom. But beneath its traditional appearance, the 1985 quarter hides a world of secrets known only to passionate coin lovers and experienced collectors. In 1985, quarters were minted at 3 major locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The ones from Philadelphia have no mint mark, the Denver quarters carry a small D, and the San Francisco coins show an S. Now here's where it gets interesting. The Philadelphia and Denver mints produced billions of these coins for general circulation, but some of them came out with rare minting mistakes and special features that dramatically increased their value. The San Francisco Mint, on the other hand, produced proof coins, high-quality collector editions with mirror-like surfaces. These proofs were never meant for everyday use, but for coin sets sold directly to collectors. What really makes the 1985 quarter stand out are its unique minting errors. These errors are what turn a regular 25-cent coin into a valuable treasure. Let's start with one of the most exciting ones, the double die obverse. This rare error happens when the coin's die strikes the design twice at slightly different angles, causing the letters or numbers to appear doubled. On the 1985 quarter, collectors have found doubling on the word liberty, the phrase, "In God We Trust," and even around Washington's eye or hairline. These double details are not only visually striking but can also raise the coin's value dramatically. Next up is the off-center strike error, one of the most eye-catching mistakes you can find. This occurs when the metal blank, called a planchet, isn't perfectly centered during the minting process. As a result, part of the design appears shifted or missing. Some 1985 quarters show off-center strikes of 5%, 10%, or even up to 50%. The more dramatic the error, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible. Then there's the clipped planchet error, which happens when the blank metal discs overlap during the cutting stage, leaving one or more curved bites missing from the coin's edge. These clipped quarters are incredibly popular among error collectors because they're easy to recognize and carry an unmistakable charm. You might also come across the die crack error, a result of stress or aging in the coin's die. These create raised lines or cracks on the coin's surface, usually stretching across Washington's face, neck, or the reverse eagle design. Each die crack pattern is unique, like a fingerprint, which makes every example one of a kind and desirable for enthusiasts. But one of the most fascinating error types linked to 1985 quarters is the wrong planchet error. Imagine a quarter accidentally struck on a blank meant for a dime or even a foreign coin. The size, thickness, and weight would all be off. These wrong planchet coins are extremely rare and often sell for thousands because they shouldn't even exist. Now let's talk about the coin's reverse design, the proud American eagle with its wings spread wide, holding arrows and olive branches. This symbol represents both strength and peace, a balance that has defined the United States throughout its history. Even small details on the reverse, like the sharpness of the feathers or clarity of the lettering, can affect the coin's grade and overall value. Speaking of grade, this is one of the biggest factors that determines whether your 1985 quarter is worth a few cents or thousands of dollars. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with mint state, MS, grades of 65 or higher considered exceptional. A flawless coin with a shiny surface, sharp details, and no visible scratches can easily capture the attention of collectors and auction houses alike. Many 1985 quarters spent decades circulating, getting worn and scratched, so finding one in pristine mint state condition is like striking gold. Don't forget about the proof coins from the San Francisco Mint. These have an S mint mark and were made using specially polished dies and planchets, giving them that stunning mirror-like finish. While most proof quarters aren't rare by themselves, certain variations, especially those with unusual toning or production flaws, can carry impressive values. For coin collectors, the thrill lies not just in the value but in the history. The 1985 Washington quarter represents an important period in U.S. coinage when craftsmanship met mass production. The U.S. Mint was transitioning to more modern technology, but even with all that progress, human error and machine imperfections still found their way into circulation, leaving behind hidden treasures for sharp-eyed collectors to discover decades later. Imagine this: you're sorting through a box of old coins, and suddenly, you notice something off about one of your 1985 quarters. The lettering looks doubled, or the edge seems clipped. That's not just an ordinary coin anymore, that's a piece of history, a minting mystery, and possibly a ticket to a serious payday. Collectors and dealers across the country are constantly on the hunt for high-grade or error 1985 quarters. Some have turned up at auctions, where bidding wars broke out among enthusiasts eager to add a perfect or unusual example to their collections. What's exciting is that these coins are still out there, tucked away in drawers, hidden in piggy banks, or circulating unnoticed in everyday change. So the next time you get a 1985 Washington quarter, take a closer look. Check the edges, the lettering, and the fine details on both sides. Look for that doubling, that off-center strike, or even an unusual weight or shine. Every small imperfection could mean something big, because yes, certain rare examples of the 1985 Washington quarter dollar, especially those with striking minting errors, perfect mint state condition, or unique variations, have been sold for as much as $81,000. That's right, $81,000 for a single quarter. Just imagine, what most people see as pocket change could actually be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Top 3. We're diving deep into the world of the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from the year 1993, a coin that might look ordinary at first glance but can actually be worth a small fortune if you have the right one. So sit back, listen carefully, and don't blink, because you might just discover that you've been carrying a rare and valuable coin without even knowing it. The 1993 Washington quarter might seem like a modern piece of pocket change, but it holds secrets that even experienced collectors find fascinating. Designed by John Flanagan, this coin features the classic portrait of George Washington on the obverse, a design that's been part of American history since 1932. On the reverse, you'll find the proud American eagle with its wings spread wide, clutching arrows and olive branches, a timeless symbol of strength and peace. But beneath that familiar design lies a world of minting mysteries, rare errors, and high-value varieties that have made this coin one of the most sought-after pieces from the early 1990s. In 1993, quarters were struck at 3 different U.S. mints: Philadelphia, No Mint Mark; Denver, D Mint Mark; and San Francisco, S Mint Mark. The Philadelphia and Denver mints produced millions of coins for circulation, while the San Francisco Mint focused on special proof versions made especially for collectors. However, it's the unexpected minting errors and rare varieties within these coins that have truly captured the attention of numismatists around the world. Let's begin with one of the most famous and valuable types, the double die error. On some 1993 quarters, doubling can be seen on the inscriptions like "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or even the date itself. This doubling happens when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned or impressed twice, creating a distinct shadowed appearance on the lettering. These double details might be subtle, but collectors pay close attention to them, because they can skyrocket the coin's value depending on clarity and position. Another fascinating and valuable type is the off-center strike error. This occurs when the blank planchet isn't placed correctly between the dies during minting, causing the design to appear off-center. The more off-center it is, while still showing the date and mint mark, the more desirable it becomes. Imagine finding a quarter where part of Washington's head or the eagle's wings are missing because of this striking error. These are rare, highly collectible, and extremely fun to discover. One of the most intriguing varieties is the clipped planchet error. During production, when the metal sheets are punched into blanks, sometimes the cutting overlaps, resulting in coins with curved edges or a bite taken out of them. These clipped quarters are instantly recognizable and can easily be worth hundreds or even thousands when verified and graded by experts. Now let's talk about die cracks and cuds. These are errors caused by wear or damage to the dies themselves. A die crack appears as a raised line across the coin, often running through Washington's portrait, his hairline, or the eagle's feathers on the reverse. A cud, on the other hand, is a blob-like raised area that forms when a piece of the die breaks off completely. Both of these types of errors are incredibly collectible because they show the imperfections of the minting process, and each one is unique. No two are ever exactly the same. Some 1993 quarters also suffer from the weak strike error, where parts of the design appear faint or incomplete due to improper pressure during minting. These subtle errors may go unnoticed by most people, but sharp-eyed collectors know they're special and often pay a premium for such coins, especially when paired with other minor defects. Another gem to look out for is the wrong planchet error. This is when a 1993 quarter is mistakenly struck on a blank meant for another denomination, like a dime or a foreign coin. The result? A coin that looks thinner, lighter, or slightly smaller than a normal quarter, often with missing design details around the edges. These wrong planchet coins are extremely rare and can easily turn a simple piece of change into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Let's not forget about the proof versions minted in San Francisco. These coins have a beautiful mirror-like finish and sharp frosted designs. While most proof quarters are common, a few with unusual toning, striking anomalies, or other unique features have found their way into the collector's spotlight. Coins with rainbow-like toning or mirror imperfections often attract strong bidding at auctions. Condition plays a massive role in determining value. A regular 1993 quarter in your pocket might only be worth 25 cents, but a flawless, uncirculated example, especially one graded MS-67 or higher by a professional grading service, can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Coins in mint-fresh condition with no scratches, perfect luster, and strong strike details are rare, since most 1993 quarters have been circulating for over 30 years. Collectors and dealers love coins that combine rarity, history, and condition, and the 1993 Washington quarter fits that description perfectly. It's part of a series that bridges the gap between the older Eagle design and the upcoming 50-state quarters program that started in 1999. In many ways, the 1993 issue represents the final years of a classic era in American coinage, and that historical connection adds even more appeal to collectors. So, if you happen to find one of these coins in your collection or pocket change, don't rush to spend it. Take a closer look. Examine the date, check for doubling, look for any unusual misalignments or clipped edges, and notice the shine of the surface. Even a small difference can mean the world when it comes to coin value. Now imagine this: you pull out an old quarter from a drawer, take a closer look, and realize you're holding a perfectly preserved 1993 Washington quarter with a rare double die error. You send it in for grading, and the results come back flawless. Suddenly, your 25-cent coin has become a collector's dream. That's the magic of coin collecting, hidden treasures waiting for sharp eyes to find them. And yes, certain examples of the 1993 Washington quarter dollar, especially those with rare minting errors, high grades, or unique varieties, have sold for as much as $78,000. That's right, $78,000 for a single Washington quarter. So always keep your eyes open and your magnifying glass handy, because the next coin you find might just be your golden ticket to an incredible discovery. Top 4. We're going to uncover the mystery behind one of the most fascinating and often overlooked coins in American history, the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from the year 1994. It may seem like just another piece of pocket change, but this small silver-colored coin has secrets that could turn it into a collector's dream. So listen carefully, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why this coin has become one of the most talked about hidden treasures in modern U.S. coinage. The 1994 Washington quarter is part of the long-running Washington quarter series, which began in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the obverse of this coin features the familiar profile of America's first president, calm, proud, and dignified, a design that has stood the test of time. On the reverse side, the majestic bald eagle spreads its wings, clutching arrows and olive branches, symbolizing the nation's strength and peace. While the design remained mostly unchanged for decades, 1994 was one of the last years before America began preparing for the new 50-state quarter series. That makes it a transitional issue, a bridge between the old tradition and a new era in coin collecting. But what truly makes the 1994 Washington quarter special are its rare minting errors and unique varieties that can make some examples worth thousands of times their face value. You see, even though millions of these quarters were struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, a handful were produced with tiny but extraordinary mistakes, and those are the coins collectors are obsessed with today. Let's start with one of the most exciting, the double die obverse error. This error occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned during preparation, resulting in doubled inscriptions. Look closely at "In God We Trust, Liberty," or even the date, 1994. If you notice shadow-like doubling on those letters or numbers, you might be looking at something extremely valuable. The stronger the doubling, the higher the demand among serious collectors. Another remarkable variety is the off-center strike error. Imagine a coin where George Washington's face is shifted slightly to one side, leaving part of the edge blank. These happen when the planchet, the blank piece of metal, isn't perfectly aligned between the dies during striking. A quarter that's off-center by even 10 or 20% while still showing the full date and mint mark can be worth hundreds, sometimes even thousands of dollars. The more dramatic the shift, the more unique and collectible the coin becomes. Next, we have the clipped planchet error, a fascinating minting mishap where a small portion of the metal blank is cut off. The result? A curved or crescent-shaped gap along the edge of the coin. These are not only visually distinct but also highly desirable because each one is one of a kind. No two clipped coins are ever exactly the same. Collectors also look out for the die crack error, where a raised line runs across the coin's surface, caused by a crack in the die itself. Sometimes, these cracks stretch through Washington's neck or hair, while others appear on the reverse across the eagle's wings. Each die crack tells its own story of how the coin was made under imperfect conditions, making it both historically fascinating and financially rewarding. Then there's the broad strike error, which happens when the coin is struck without the collar die that normally holds its shape. This gives the coin a larger, flatter appearance with slightly distorted edges. It's a dramatic error that instantly catches attention, and collectors will pay a premium for one in excellent condition. Speaking of condition, this is one of the most important factors when it comes to the 1994 Washington quarter's value. Most quarters from that year have been in circulation for decades, showing scratches, dull surfaces, and signs of wear. But an uncirculated or mint-state example, especially one graded MS-67 or higher, can be incredibly rare. Coins with strong luster, sharp detail, and no visible marks are in high demand, and their value can soar at auctions. Proof versions of the 1994 quarter, minted in San Francisco with an S mint mark, are also worth noting. These coins were struck multiple times using specially polished dies, giving them a mirror-like finish. While most proof quarters aren't rare, a few examples have surfaced with unusual toning, where the metal has developed beautiful rainbow-like colors over time. Collectors love these naturally toned proofs, and when combined with any small striking imperfections, they can command extraordinary prices. Some experts also speculate that the 1994 quarter marks a transitional moment in the materials used for minting, leading to slight differences in color and finish. A handful of coins have been found with darker surfaces or unusual textures, possibly due to metal composition variations or environmental reactions over the years. These subtle differences add even more intrigue to this coin's story. What truly makes the 1994 Washington quarter fascinating is how it connects history, artistry, and accidental rarity. It represents the tail end of the pre-state quarter era, when the eagle design was about to make way for new state symbols. For collectors, this gives it not only monetary value but also emotional and historical significance. Every mark, every small imperfection, tells a story of its journey through time, from the mint press to the hands of millions of Americans. So, coin lovers, the next time you come across a 1994 Washington quarter, don't overlook it. Take a close look at the mint mark, whether it's P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco, and examine it under good lighting. Look for doubling, clipping, cracks, or any off-center designs. You might just find a rare piece hiding in plain sight. Now, here comes the exciting part, the value reveal. Among the rarest examples of this coin, those with dramatic errors, perfect mint state grades, or unique toning have been known to sell for astonishing prices. In fact, one exceptional 1994 Washington quarter dollar, featuring a rare minting flaw and flawless preservation, was valued at an incredible $75,000. That's right, $75,000 for a single 25-cent coin. Imagine the thrill of discovering something like that in your own collection or spare change. It's stories like these that make coin collecting such a thrilling and rewarding hobby. So keep your eyes sharp, your magnifying glass handy, and your curiosity alive. Who knows? The next coin you examine might just be your ticket to an amazing discovery. Top 5. We're diving deep into a coin that many people see every day but few truly understand, the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from the year 1995. It may look like just another quarter, but hidden among these coins are rare varieties and minting errors that can transform this simple 25-cent piece into a collector's prize worth thousands of dollars. So grab your magnifying glass, listen closely, and enjoy this fascinating journey through one of America's most mysterious quarters. The 1995 Washington quarter belongs to one of the most iconic and enduring coin series in U.S. history. Originally introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, this quarter has become a timeless symbol of American heritage. Designed by John Flanagan, it features Washington's dignified profile on the obverse, facing left with the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date, 1995. The reverse showcases the proud American bald eagle clutching arrows and olive branches, representing both strength and peace. While the design might seem familiar, the 1995 quarter holds secrets that make it stand out. This year's issue came from 3 mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, U.S. mint mark for proof coins. Millions of these were produced, but not all were created perfectly. Within that massive production, a few coins came out with fascinating minting mistakes that transformed them into rare collector treasures. One of the most desirable types among collectors is the double die obverse error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin is improperly prepared, resulting in doubling of certain details. Look closely at the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," or even the date, 1995. If you see a slight shadow or doubling in those letters or numbers, congratulations, you may have a rare and valuable coin. Clear and bold doubling is extremely rare, and collectors are always eager to add such examples to their collections. Another highly sought-after error is the off-center strike. This happens when the metal blank, called a planchet, is not perfectly centered during the minting process. The result is a coin with part of the design missing, shifted toward one edge. If your 1995 quarter looks uneven or part of Washington's head or the eagle's wings seem cut off, you could be holding something very special. The more dramatic the misalignment, the higher the value, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible. Next, let's talk about the clipped planchet error. These are coins that were struck on metal blanks that have been improperly cut, leaving a curved or crescent-shaped chunk missing from the edge. These unique coins are fascinating because each one is truly one of a kind. The U.S. Mint's precision usually prevents such mistakes, but when they do occur, collectors are quick to grab them. Then there are the die crack and cut errors, which happen when the dies used for striking coins begin to wear down or break. A die crack appears as a raised line across the coin's surface, while a cut forms when part of the die breaks away completely, leaving a raised blob of metal on the coin. These are like signatures of imperfection, tiny accidents that make each coin different. Collectors love these flaws because they tell the story of the coin's creation, revealing how even the world's most sophisticated minting machines aren't immune to mistakes. One of the most dramatic and valuable minting errors found on 1995 quarters is the wrong planchet strike. Imagine finding a Washington quarter struck on a planchet meant for another denomination, perhaps a dime or even a foreign coin. The result is a coin that looks slightly smaller, lighter, or thinner than normal, with parts of the design missing around the edge. These are exceptionally rare and can sell for staggering amounts when authenticated by professional grading services. Now, let's shift our focus to condition, one of the most critical factors in determining a coin's value. Most 1995 quarters you find in your pocket are circulated, showing signs of wear, scratches, and dull surfaces. But an uncirculated example, one that has never been used in everyday transactions, can be worth far more. Coins graded MS67 or higher by grading companies like PCGS or NGC are extremely rare and desirable. These coins retain their original shine, sharp details, and flawless surfaces that collectors crave. Proof versions from the San Francisco Mint also hold special appeal. These coins were made using polished dies and struck multiple times for maximum detail and a mirror-like finish. While most proof coins are affordable, some rare examples feature unusual toning, a rainbow-like color that forms naturally over time due to chemical reactions in the metal. Beautifully toned proof coins from 1995 can command impressive prices among collectors who value uniqueness and aesthetic beauty, but the fascination with the 1995 quarter isn't just about its errors or shine. It's also about its place in history. This coin was minted just a few years before the start of the 50-state quarters program, which began in 1999. In a way, the 1995 issue represents the final years of the classic Washington Eagle design before it was replaced by state-specific reverses. That gives it a nostalgic significance, the end of an era in U.S. coinage. Collectors are drawn to coins like this because they capture a moment in time. Every scratch, every imperfection, and every unique error tells part of America's story. Holding a 1995 Washington quarter isn't just about its value, it's about owning a small piece of history that has traveled through countless hands, businesses, and lives over the decades. So, if you happen to find one of these coins, take a moment to inspect it carefully. Check the mint mark, examine the lettering, and look for any unusual features that stand out. Even the smallest detail, a faint doubling, a clipped edge, or a weak strike, could mean the difference between a regular quarter and a collector's jackpot. And now comes the moment you've been waiting for, the incredible value reveal. Among the rarest examples of the 1995 Washington quarter dollar, those with major minting errors, pristine uncirculated condition, or exceptional visual appeal have sold for jaw-dropping prices. In fact, one stunning specimen of this coin was valued at an astonishing $72,000. That's right, $72,000 for a single quarter. It's hard to believe that a small coin you might find in your pocket could hold that kind of hidden value, but that's the thrill of coin collecting. Each coin has a story to tell, and sometimes, that story ends in a life-changing discovery. So keep hunting, keep learning, and never underestimate the coins in your collection. The next time you look through your spare change, you might just uncover a treasure hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss a new discovery. Until next time, happy collecting, and may your next coin find be the rarest one yet.